Marcus wiped the sweat from his brow as he pushed his maintenance cart down the pristine corridors of the Xantharian royal palace. 3 months into his contract as head janitor for the most powerful dragon clan in the Andromeda sector, and he still marveled at the crystalline walls that seemed to pulse with their own inner light. The job paid well, enough to send money back to Earth's reconstruction efforts, but the isolation was getting to him. Dragons, he'd learned, didn't much care for conversation with the lesser species. As he rounded the corner toward the east, Marcus heard it again, a soft whimpering that had been haunting these halls for weeks. The other staff, a mix of various alien species, had warned him to ignore it. "The young prince," they whispered, "cursed to silence by birth defect. Best to leave dragon business to dragons." But Marcus had never been good at ignoring suffering. He found the source in the observatory, a crystalline dome that offered a breathtaking view of the binary stars. Curled in the far corner, barely, the size of a house cat despite being nearly 50 years old by dragon standards, was Prince Zephyr. His scales, which should have been the brilliant gold of royal blood, were dull and gray with neglect. The little dragon's mouth moved constantly, but no sound emerged except those heartbreaking whimpers. "Hey there, buddy," Marcus said softly, setting down his mop bucket. He'd tried this approach before, but the young dragon always fled. This time, however, Zephyr's large amber eyes fixed on him with desperate intelligence. Marcus sat cross-legged on the floor, making himself as non-threatening as possible. "Rough day?" "Yeah, I know the feeling." He pulled out his lunch, a simple sandwich from Earth's remaining wheat reserves. "Want to share?" "I've got plenty." The dragon's nostrils flared at the unfamiliar scent, and slowly, carefully, he crept forward. As Zephyr nibbled at the bread, Marcus noticed something the royal physicians had apparently missed. The dragon's throat bore old scar tissue, barely visible beneath the scales. "Someone hurt you?" Marcus whispered, anger flashing in his eyes. "That's not a birth defect, is it?" Zephyr's eyes widened with shock. For the first time, someone had seen the truth. Marcus spent the next hour simply talking about Earth, about his sister who died in the Martian colony collapse, about how sometimes healing meant starting over completely. All the while, he gently massaged the dragon's throat, using techniques his grandmother had taught him for soothing damaged vocal cords in human children. "The thing about voices," Marcus said as he worked, "is they're not just about making sound. They're about being heard. And, buddy, I hear you loud and clear." Something miraculous happened. As Marcus continued his gentle ministrations, humming an old Earth lullaby, Zephyr's throat began to vibrate, first just a whisper, then something more. Human?" came a voice like crystal chimes, barely audible, but unmistakably real. You can hear me?" Marcus grinned, tears in his eyes. "Clear as day, Your Highness. What's your name?" "Zephyr," the little dragon managed, his voice growing stronger with each word. I was Prince Zephyr before they tried to silence you," Marcus finished gently. "But voices like yours? They can't be silenced forever. They just need the right person to listen." Unknown to both of them, a massive shadow had fallen across the observatory's entrance. Queen Seraphina, Empress of the Xantharian Empire, stood, frozen in the doorway. For 3 years, she had listened to the greatest healers in the galaxy declare her son irreparably damaged. For 3 years, she had watched him withdraw deeper into silence and despair. And now, this human, this simple, cleaner from a backwater planet, had achieved the impossible. "Mother?" Zephyr's voice carried across the chamber, clear and strong. "Mother, I can speak! The human helped me remember how!" Queen Seraphina's massive form, easily 50 feet from nose to tail, trembled as she approached. Her scales shimmered, with emotions too complex for most species to comprehend. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of absolute authority and barely contained wonder. "Human," she said, lowering her great head until she was eye level with Marcus, who had scrambled to his feet. "What is your name?" "Marcus Chen, Your Majesty," he replied, fighting every instinct that screamed at him to run from the most powerful being in known space. "Marcus Chen," she repeated, as if memorizing each syllable. "Do you understand what you have done? The gift you have given not just to my son, but to our entire empire?" Marcus looked at Zephyr, who was practically glowing with joy as he chattered, excitedly about everything he'd wanted to say for years. "I just listened, Your Majesty. Sometimes that's all anyone needs." The Queen's laugh was like the sound of solar winds through crystal forests. "Just listened. The greatest minds in the galaxy and a human janitor solved the mystery by just listening." She paused, her ancient eyes studying him with new respect. "Tell me, Marcus Chen, what do humans call this quality of yours?" Marcus shrugged, embarrassed by the attention. "Compassion, I guess. Or maybe just giving a damn about someone other than yourself." "Compassion," Queen Seraphina mused. "We have no word for this in our language. Perhaps it is time we learned one." As news of the miracle spread throughout the palace, Marcus found his simple act of kindness had changed everything. The Xantharian Empire, one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy, began to see humanity not as a minor species to be tolerated, but as teachers of something they'd forgotten in their millennia of isolation. And in the days that followed, as Prince Zephyr's voice grew stronger and his scales regained their royal gold, Queen Seraphina would often be found in quiet conversation with the human cleaner, learning about this strange concept called compassion, and wondering what other gifts humanity might bring to the stars. The universe, it seemed, had much to learn from the janitor who cared enough to listen.